Okay guys, I'm here with the short history of Decay, here with
Bryan Greenberg,
Emmanuelle Chriqui,
Maren.
Now, I read the synopsis of the film and it's very interesting because you guys, I'm assuming, shot it both in Brooklyn and in Florida?
Actually, Brooklyn and North Carolina.
Oh, North Carolina, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But let's start with the title. How did the title come around?
The title is actually the title of a book of philosophy that I'm by a Romanian writer named Emmanuelle Chriqui, and it's one of my favorite books of philosophy, and it's one of those books I read a lot. And there's a line in the book that really caught my attention, which was, people are generally more afraid of living than they are of dying.
Oh,
and so
wow.
I kind of carried that with me, and when I came to write the script, I thought I'd revise bring out the title of that book, and maybe a few people read the book as well.
Definitely. You'll get information on that.
I'm in.
Yeah, sold.
And from what you told me, that kind of ties in with Bryan's character going on, because he's a wannabe kind of writer going on, and then he's kind of afraid to go into commitment, so that kind of goes in with the whole cycle of living and committing to things. But when his family starts going, problems with his father and his mother, that kind of goes into all into it.
Yeah, the way I interpret it, because I didn't even know that's what it was based on. I thought it was, I play a writer who wants to be a novelist, thinks he wants to be a novelist, thinks he wants to be with his girlfriend at the time, played by Emmanuelle, and she's also a novelist, and she breaks up with me because I'm not doing anything and pretending to write. And I end up going home to visit my ailing parents, and I think the decay part of it is sort of the decay of we all have these ideas of who we think we want to be. What would I would just be the perfect person if I dated a very ambitious girl whose career driven, who's a beautiful girl, or if my parents were like this perfect couple and not who they really are, or if I was a novelist and not like or if I was a playwright instead of a novelist, or whatever those things may be. It's just, he starts to change. It's just the beginning of the decay of those ideas of what would make him happy. Hopefully finding happiness himself.
That's so cool. I feel like it's up for so much interpretation, that title, A Short History of Decay. Yeah. Really, that's what's so intriguing about it. I think it can also just be a metaphor for life, that life is a short history of decay. It's not the most positive, but yeah. I mean, certainly we are, we're living and dying every day.
And everything's in flux. That is sort of the idea.
Right.
That change is constant. Change is steady and constant, and for better and for worse. And that's really the meaning of the title of the film.
So if you had to point out one thing that got you most interested in working on this project, compared to you, what you've done previously, How to Make It in America, and with you, with Entourage going on, it seems to be a more kind of serious, well, it's a comedy in a way, but it has a lot of serious background compared to it.
Right.
So if you had to point out one thing that got you interested in
Well, I was attracted to the writing. It was really smart and subtle, and it's one of those scripts that I didn't really know what it was about the first time I read it, and even the second time I read it. It took like a couple readings to really get underneath the dialogue and understand how rich this world is that Michael created. And so that really drew me to it. And also a chance to work with Emmanuelle again, which we worked together on Unscripted on HBO a couple years ago. We've been close friends ever since. And then to be able to get a chance to work with Paris Yulin and Linda Lavin, who are amazing actors, and I just knew I could learn so much. And I personally like to work with new talent, and this is Michael's first time directing, and that's the only time you can really get a chance to take a risk, change it up. You never know what you're gonna get involved with. Roll the dice and let it ride. I'm really happy with the movie turned out. I had a great time doing it.
So what got you interested in the project in the first place?
I mean, really, could I say it better than the BJ just did? Not really. I think that ultimately, we're always looking for great material and reading things that grab us, and I thought it was a beautiful story. And the fact that BJ was doing it, and I read it, and when I knew that he was signing on, I was like, oh my God, that's so perfect. It's perfect for this. And then we both were so lucky to, you know, get to meet and work and get to know, you know, Michael Maren. He's just so talented, and I'm so excited to be amongst like the first.
Yeah.
And we can be part of the Michael Maren team now.
Yeah.
Now, regarding, you say you guys shot in Brooklyn and in North Carolina, you said?
Yeah, we shot in Wilmington, North Carolina, but it was supposed to be in Florida.
Florida.
Yeah.
Okay. Now,
It worked well.
Yeah, it really does.
From start to finish, how long did the whole project take place?
3.5 weeks. I mean for shooting.
We shot 19 days in North Carolina and 3 days in New York City.
But then you developed it a year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah, I spent 3 months writing the script, a year raising the money, and then of course we went to post-production for months and months and months trying to get it exactly right after what we had. So about 2.5 years for the entire process.
It's just pretty short
Yeah.
in the film life. Like most movies take 5-6 years to get
Even 7 going into that.
Yeah.
Now, regarding what, if you had to point out the hardest obstacle and the biggest high you guys had working on the whole project thus far, do you guys have one of those moments?
I think the biggest obstacle for me is, because it's such a subtle film, is to find like where the character starts and where the character ends, and to just subtly find those scenes and how you're gonna play it, because it's like a jigsaw puzzle. You know, you don't shoot in sequence. You have to shoot out of order. So you have to find like your mental state of like, how happy am I here, and just kind of carving that arc was in working every day in every scene. You just it takes a lot of focus. You really have to remember where you are.
And faith.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Yeah.
faith that there is absolutely an arc.
Yeah.
I mean, I know just from being friends with BG that was a legitimate concern. And, you know, not because it wasn't on the page, but just it's overwhelming when you shoot out a sequence. And he does such a beautiful job, start to finish. You really get such an idea of who Nate is, and it's beautiful.
And Bryan does a brilliant job. He's in every scene in the film.
Yeah.
And yes, the changes are subtle, in part because I don't think in life you have these great moments, something happens and you completely change who you are and the way you are. I think change is subtle and slow and constant. And so the changes he goes through in the course of the time period that the script is set in, which is only a couple of weeks, they're obvious, and Bryan just did a brilliant job of bringing that out.
Now, do you have any hard obstacles regarding working with the film, or like if you had to pan out the biggest issue for you, or just the whole shooting out of sequence and just hoping for that it's all gonna fall in?
Me?
She's a diva.
I mean, I'm the worst to work with. The worst. No, there wasn't. You know, the obstacle for me, I wouldn't even say it was an obstacle. It was just that I shot all my stuff out in like 2-3 days, which was just intense in regards.
And they were my first days. Those were my first days. My first days as a director.
It was like, okay, we're jumping in.
And later on, I thought like, I wish Emmanuelle was here now, because I've gotten so much more confident a week or two into the actual shooting. The biggest challenge, I think, was the fact that we shot it on a very tight schedule. There wasn't a lot of room for error, and so we had to keep moving on and trying to get those scenes right before we moved on to the next scene was a terrific challenge, and everybody really came through. The entire cast came through it in a huge way, and we did that.
I want to give a shout out to Port City Java coffee shop that really made this movie happen.
The coffee.
Yeah. Did about 3 tall boys a day. Yeah.
Now, here we are on the Hamptons Film Festival. What's the schedule going on for the film? More festivals regarding physical release, digital release? What's going to be going on?
We'll be going to some more festivals. I'm not going to say exactly which ones right now because we haven't entirely decided. And we're still in the process of talking to distributors about what's the best way to get this film out.
Yeah.
And audiences are loving it when they see it, and so we want to make sure it gets the best release possible.
if people want to keep track of the project, is there the website, Facebook, Twitter?
Well, you can go to ashorthistoryofdecay.com, which will lead you to the Twitter page, the Facebook page,
All the social networking going on.
and all of it. We've got a big presence on social networking.
We'll be tweeting and Instagramming.
These guys
Yeah.
are tweeting, and you can follow the film on Twitter, and you can follow these guys on Twitter.
Honestly, I want so many people to see this movie, and I really hope it does get out there, because I think it's everybody who sees it can relate to it.
Absolutely.
And it's
It's a gem.
it's a really there was so much laughter in the screening last night, and so many tears at the same time, and that's rare. You know, you don't get movies that can deliver on those levels. So I'm really proud to be a part of it.
Me too.
Yeah.
Now, if there's one advice you can go out, I'm sure the list is huge regarding from acting perspective for you guys or from directing. I'm sure, like I said, you guys been doing this for a while, and when you working on this project, I'm sure you all learned along the way. And that's what's cool about this industry. You're always learning and it's always evolving. But if there's one crucial advice for either actors or directors that want to get into business, do you guys have one of those advices that you usually give out?
Yeah. Do it because you love it. Don't do it because you think it's glorious or
Yeah.
glamorous. Because it ain't.
Yeah. Enjoy the ride and not the destination.
That's
I know
right.
It sounds cliche,
But it's true. This shit is hard. It's a hard business.
No, from directing perspective.
From directing, you know, the one thing I've learned about directing is it's 90% casting. You got to get the right people in the right roles and trust them to do what you know they can do. And I think that's why this film really succeeded. That's really good actors doing, really working at the top of their game.
Once again, guys, thank you very much for your
Thank you.
time. We'll just keep track of the movie going on. So once again, thank you guys.
All right,
thank you very much.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you guys.
Thanks a lot.